That was fighting for gay rights, and people were killed.
Nobody was killed at Stonewall.
Nobody was killed.
When RuPaul's Drag Race first hit the scene, it was an underdog. From the very beginning, anybody that tuned in knew that there was something special about this series, yet it hadn't yet reached the mainstream appeal. This was largely due to the fact that the network was Logo TV, a channel that was more on the smaller side and largely focused around LGBT content. So it wasn't at the top of a lot of people's lists. When it comes to the Emmys, it is the highest level of recognition that can be given to a television series. This covers drama, comedy, reality, or in Drag Race's case, outstanding reality TV competition series. What many don't know is that in order to qualify for the Emmys, there's a set of requirements expected within the production of a season. There needs to be tangible evidence that things are being done fairly. Yes, I know that some of you are rolling your eyes already, but this is true. What this means is that when it comes to twists like, let's say, the golden chocolate bar from season 14, they quite literally would have to prove to the Academy that the recipient of the bar truly was chosen at random and not fixed for one specific person.
This is chocolate.
On the other hand, where production would have more leverage would be on opinion-based things. Like, let's say the winner of a lip sync, where even if you think one person obviously did better than the other, it ultimately comes down to personal opinions from the judges panel as to who gets to stay. Yet when it comes to things that aren't opinion-based, like the season 17 Badunkadunk tank, they would have had to decide ahead of time that the right levers were 1 and 7, and not decide last minute depending on which queen was in the bottom that week. Now that we understand the basis of how a show needs to function in order to qualify for the Emmys, let's get into the weeds of what exactly is Drag Race's relationship with them. Picture this. It's 8 a.m., I'm trying to juggle my balls and emails, my cat's screaming for attention, and I'm running late for literally everything. But at least I've got my Raycon Essential open earbuds keeping me company through the chaos. That's why this video is sponsored by Raycon. It's their anniversary, and the Essential open earbuds are stealing the spotlight. And they're 30% off right now. Honestly, these things have become really useful in my day-to-day grind. They're sleek, smart, and way cooler than your average earbuds. Whether I'm working, commuting, or just zoning out to some Drag Race podcast, they make everything feel smoother. I use mine everywhere, like when I'm editing videos or rewatching Drag Race episodes. What I love is that they don't block me off from the world. I can still hear traffic, random conversations, all while the audio stays crisp. Raycon's open ear design sits just outside of your ear canal, so you're aware of your surroundings but still getting that crystal clear sound. Raycon delivers what the big brands do, but for literally half the cost. And with over 3 million people vibing with them, plus a 30-day happiness guarantee, you literally have nothing to lose. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/GreenGayOpen to get 30% off Essential Open earbuds. That's buyraycon.com/GreenGayOpen. Support the channel, grab a deal, and get yourself a pair that actually keeps up with you. When the franchise was in its infancy stages, the concept of being nominated for an Emmy was so far down the line that it didn't even seem like a real possibility. For a while, there wasn't even an existing union for the workers or the cast to be protected by. So when they say they were building things from the ground up, they weren't kidding.
Are you pushing their barriers beyond this year compared to past seasons?
Oh my goodness, do we push barriers? And this is, listen, when you're doing a reality show, especially our show, the hours are long, they're sequestered, they don't talk to their family, they're not allowed to for the time they're shooting. And it's really wearing on a person. It's almost like being in a, some type of a prison, because a drag prison, because so they get worn down, and then we absolutely push them beyond their limits. Because if you really want a long career in show business, you've got to know where your limits are and to actually learn how to push past it, to know where that is. And that's true with everybody, not just drag. I've done it. I've had to do it. And, I encourage our girls to do it. In fact, that's what the challenges are designed to do. So
what we know is that it's season 7 for the 2015 Emmys that they received their first small nomination for the category of Outstanding Makeup with Matthew Anderson, Rue's makeup artist at the time, making history as the first person responsible for earning the series an acknowledgement from the Emmys. Obviously, he did not go on to win that year, but he essentially broke down the first barrier into what would go on to be the franchise's break into mainstream relevancy. The next year, in 2016, RuPaul's Drag Race earned themselves 2 nominations, one for Outstanding Costumes and another for Outstanding Host. Subsequently, to the surprise of many, RuPaul would end up earning Drag Race their first Emmy win by being awarded the Best Host for that given year. This was a huge turning point for the series, and was the beginning of an upward trajectory that would soon turn into full dominance in terms of being a key player when it came to award season. Think of it this way, up until this point, every year that passed, there was constant discourse/fear on if the series would even get renewed for another season. RuPaul's Drag Race winning its first Emmy was a good sign that the journey was only just about to begin. And it's not a coincidence that it's literally a year after this that they would switch networks from Logo TV to VH1. Things were about to get serious. Once 2017 hit, it truly was the birth of the mainstream era of the series. They earned themselves a huge jump in nominations, totaling in 7 overall nominations in both big and small categories, along with 3 wins: Best Host, which would spark the second win in Rue's streak, Best Costumes, and finally Best Makeup, which was awarded to Raven. Obviously, this created the infamous drama between the production of World of Wonder and Willem, where Willem criticized the fact that despite Matthew having paved the way, becoming the first person to earn Drag Race a nomination for his work on RuPaul, then right when he was fired that year, his replacement Raven would go on to not only get nominated for doing Rue's makeup, but actually win the award. It was recognition that many felt Matthew Anderson deserved, but through an unfortunate set of circumstances, it was not able to happen. Regardless, the next year for season 10 at the 2018 Emmys, once again, things were on the uphill trajectory. This time, they earned a total of 10 nominations across several different categories and a total of 4 wins. One for editing, one for cinematography. Rue once again won Best Host, but the series also won Outstanding Reality Competition Program. This is one of the major categories, and it would also start the streak of Drag Race winning this moving forward. By 2019, they earned 9 nominations and 3 wins for season 11. They won Outstanding Reality Competition Program, Best Editing, and of course, Rue won Best Host. If anyone wasn't already paying attention to this franchise, it's at this point that all eyes were on them. It wasn't just that they were now a yearly staple at this award show. It was that along with that, they were dominating 2 of the most important categories to be a part of when it comes to reality TV competition shows. Keep in mind that before Drag Race, it was The Amazing Race that tended to always win these Emmys. That brings us to 2020, where they got 10 nominations and a record-breaking 6 wins, which would go down to be the most amount of wins the franchise got in a single year. It included cinematography, costumes, hairstyling, casting, Best Host, and of course, Outstanding Reality Competition Program. This then correlated through to 2021, where season 13 got 3 Emmy wins, including Best Host and Outstanding Reality Competition. Yet, it is at this point where things began to get rocky. By now, there was a couple streaks going. RuPaul's Drag Race had won Best Outstanding Reality Competition Program for a total of 4 years in a row, and Ru had won Best Host for 6 years in a row. It was like a given that they'd always dominate moving forward because there was just no competition for them, or so we thought. At the Emmys 2022, something peculiar happened. While Ru was able to win Best Host once again, earning her a 7-year streak in the category, shockingly enough, RuPaul's Drag Race would end up losing their 4-year streak in Outstanding Reality Competition Program to none other than Lizzo's Give It Up for the Big Girl. Now, nobody really felt that this show was all that good. Yet it's important to note that season 14 was the first double-digit season to lose the Emmy in this category, and it was a particularly poorly produced edition. So while sad, it wasn't exactly shocking, and instead was sort of a wake-up call for World of Wonder that just because they had risen to the top of the award show didn't mean that they could just put no effort and still get rewards for their production. When we get to the 2023 Emmys, it seemed like things were back to normal. Ru won Best Host again, and as season 15 won Outstanding Reality Competition Program. Only thing is though, that this would go on to be the last time that Drag Race won this category, at least for the near future. The 2024 Emmys was the true turning point of the franchise's dominance at the Emmys, because it is here that season 16 lost Outstanding Reality Competition show to the Traitors season 2. Now, the Traitors is a franchise that has spin-offs all around the world, and it's actually one that I'm a fan of too. It is filled with constant drama every episode and truly keeps you at the edge of your seat. And when they entered the ring, it began to create cracks in RuPaul's Drag Race, because not only did they lose Best Reality Show that year, but RuPaul, who had an 8-year streak of winning Best Host, lost for the very first time to Alan Cummings. Flash forward to today, the 2025 Emmys just took place last month. If you didn't know, while the main night of the Emmys with all the big categories is televised, a couple weeks prior, the Creative Emmys takes place, and that's where they hand out the Best Host award. Unfortunately though, RuPaul lost Best Host for a second year in a row to Alan Cumming. And it seems that this upset him a lot because for the first time ever, RuPaul didn't bother to show up to the official televised Emmys 2025. And to no surprise, season 17 lost Outstanding Competition show to the Traitors season 3, officially signaling the end of an era for Emmy wins in regards to Drag Race. So then, how should we feel about all this? The main conversation right now is that the Emmys always has had a habit of sort of being distracted by their new shiny toy. The Amazing Race tended to always win Outstanding Competition show, and then once RuPaul's Drag Race entered the ring, it's them that started getting all the awards. And now it's the Traitors that have entered the picture, and they'll be the ones getting recognition moving forward. While this theory isn't necessarily wrong, there is another perspective that should be acknowledged. Was the franchise always going to be winning every single year? No. It was only a matter of time before something else appeared to create cracks in the empire. Yet it's not exactly all that negative of a situation. What we do know is that Drag Race will continue to be nominated moving forward. The only difference now is that they can't be sticking to the status quo in terms of what they deliver. If they want to win over the Traitors, they're gonna have to go above and beyond with the seasons they produce. This is gonna involve World of Wonder actually taking into account the suggestions that the fanbase has been giving them for several years. I mean, look at season 17 for instance. The cast in itself, while filled with great personalities that we are grateful to have gotten to know, was for the most part comprised of really young queens. The reason that was an issue is due to the fact that they lacked a lot of experience, which resulted in them not really flourishing. This was a weak cast, and only like 3 or 4 contestants were up to par in terms of having strengths in more than just one area of the challenges. Or how things like the badunkadunk twist, while cute on paper, didn't exactly do that much to the overall tension either. I do wonder if it would be helpful for the main production team to replace some of its members. We often hear about certain names associated with story producers, and a good amount of them date back to over 10 years. Could it be that these producers are simply out of touch with what would be the best overall form of entertainment? I'd actually like you guys to answer this question below, because it's something that I've been thinking about for a while now. For instance, the fanbase has constantly said online that we want to see more older queens cast on the show, which means individuals that are actually seasoned performers with talents that go beyond just being a skinny fashion queen, and encapsulates most areas that we need to see queens excel in order to actually bring good stakes within a given season. Another option is for them to consider submitting their all-star seasons towards Emmy nominations. If you didn't know, World of Wonder has never submitted any of their all-star seasons because it requires a certain amount of investment for the production to do so. Therefore, they focus on the main series. Yet, imagine if All-Stars 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 had been considered. They possibly could have brought home another award for them. Plus, given the direction things are headed, it's clear that with All-Stars 10, they were able to bring a lot of drama to the All-Stars franchise, which had been falling flat for a while now. If they can just put more effort into properly casting queens in All-Stars, introducing twists and formats that forces conflicts among the competitors, then they could actually have a chance at getting the attention of the Emmys Academy. Like, I'm telling you, if they just laser focus on making All-Stars 12 the first all-villain season and don't mess things up, we could potentially get one of the best set of episodes of reality TV ever. Regardless, I want to end this video on a positive note. Like a wise man once said, losing is the new winning. The Traitors coming in and stealing RuPaul's Drag Race spot as the Emmys' favorite love child opens up the opportunity for the franchise to analyze itself and try to find out methods that they can improve and perfect their product. Without wake-up calls like this, there probably wouldn't be as much self-reflection from producers on what they're doing right or wrong on a given year. And it'll make it all the more exciting when eventually Drag Race does finally win again. It's just a matter of time. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to get your Essential Open earbuds and get a whole 30% off your first purchase, which will support the channel in the process. I want to take a moment to thank my patrons. In the Elite Pink Squad, we have Matthew Burns, Gay Uncle, Sari Tish, Las Potitas, Cool Gal Nan, Jet Sam Adams, and Natasha De Leon. And in the Gay Squad, we have lone member Christine Gregory. And finally, in the Green Squad, we have Cayman Rider Furry, Edgar Allan Pup, The Only Sean, IJS, Not a Punch But a Keek, Jack Beck, Galeria Gomez, Sarah G, Scarlet Rose, Boiled Peanut, Not an Omelet But an Egg, Max Whale, Dea, and Nilo Hearing. If you want to see your name on the screen, you can support me on Patreon. The link will be in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Give this video a like and comment below to help me out with the algorithm. Watch some of my other videos if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time.